Hello, today I'm gonna show you how you can achieve this simple house generator I was showcasing from my previous video. So you have simple options. You can also extrude. It's gonna be updated in real time. You have an window probability, randomness for windows, chimney position. You can switch door position on the other side, and it's truly like a hybrid procedural modeling plus GeoNode. So let's get started. So I have here a new file with my house mesh, and first thing you have to think about the logic. You want the door to always be on the ground floor, so we're gonna start with that, and we have to isolate the ground floor first. So we're gonna have separate and also delete geometry. We want to delete everything which is on top. So let's get started. Separate geometry. We have a delete geometry, both of them gonna be on face. And now we need to specify with a normal node we want from top to bottom. So we're gonna use a normal with a compare node. And now you see it's deleting the backside, so we need to specify the axis. There are two ways you can specify axis: with a vector node and also separate XYZ node on Z axis. So you see it's taking the roof off, and if we decrease the value we are left with our ground floor. So let's quickly group this and say this is floor plan. So now what we need to is to separate the perimeter. We only want the door to be on the outside, so we're gonna do that by deleting by edges. So we need a delete geometry node. We're gonna select here, instead of faces like first time, we're gonna select edges, and we'll have to specify again. We'll take this compare node and we're gonna use a new node called by edge neighbours. And greater than here 1. And you can see we have the exactly the outline of the house, like the exterior, and our door is gonna be on each side. So let's create a mesh to curve here and a curve to mesh, and I like to keep things organized, so I'm gonna group this, Control J, and say perimeter. Alright, so going further, we'll have to isolate the ground floor further, and we'll have to do that by extruding this perimeter upwards, and we'll have to isolate each face with a selection node. So let's do that by extruding by edges, and now you see it's extruded upwards in all directions, XYZ. So you need to specify. So like I said, you can use a separate XYZ or a vector. So let's use a vector. We are offsetting, and we need to specify 1 on Z axis, and it's gonna go upwards, and we can go 1.8 meters, and now we'll have to isolate each side where our door is gonna be positioned on. So let's start with -x. So we need to delete everything but this -x face. So we're gonna select face, and now we're gonna use quite a powerful selection node group, I will say. So we're gonna use a compare. It's gonna be just like the other one based on normal, so let's use a normal. And now we're gonna switch to vector, and we have here x, y, z. So let's use the by equal, and let's use here -1. And if we increase the epsilon value to 1, we have our -x face where our door is gonna be constrained on. So if we have here 1, we have +x, so -1. If we have here 0 and here 1, we have +y. -1 is gonna be -y. So let's have here -1, and we're gonna start with this one, and let's group this so we can switch between them, and it's gonna be useful for us further. So we can rename this -x, and then can put this in center, and we can copy this 3 more times for our 4 sides. So this is gonna be +x, this is gonna be +y, and -y. And now we need to change values. So 1, 1, 1, the next one, 1 here, switch this to 0, and -1 here. So let's save this, go back with tab, and rename this here selection sides. So if we switch now, you see +x, +y, and -y. Alright, so let's have -6 and say this is the front of the building. So we can group this and calling sides. Let's say Control J, sides for door. Now we're gonna have a, let's specify our door now. So we're gonna have a mesh to point, and we're gonna select by face, and we can increase here and see, or we have 3 points now. So what we need to, it's to have a selection by index, and only have 1. So let's do that. Have a compare, and let's say index, and if we have here an integer, it's an exact number. So index 1 we have our door. And now we can have an instance on point and then we plug it here. Let's use a join geometry. And we can also plug our main house mesh. Let's use a reroute because it's easier to control. So we can have it in our join geometry. Alright, so let's bring our door model. I have it here and I can bring it here, and you can see the door is at the mesh 2 point position. And let's use a transform. The door is a little upward, like at the center of the face, so I'm gonna bring it a little lower with my transform geometry. Yeah, that looks great. Alright, so we have our door here, and let's Control J this one and say door model. And what we'll want to do now is also we'll have to bring our windows also. So yeah, let's get our windows now. So with the door we have to constrain to the ground floor, but with the window we can have it on each side of the mesh of the building. So we can start again from here and we can isolate. So let's have delete by geometry, delete geometry. We can have here by face, and we can use our cool node here for selection size, and we can specify -x. So let's see, -x plus x. So what we'll have to do, we might have to try and get this out from here. Let's say Control C and copy. Let me delete because I might have to increase the values. So 1. So I'll have to increase the epsilon value, so 1.7. So let's use this again. And because when we created this node, it acts like an instance. So if we modify it here, it's gonna be modified here also. And you can see by the number here how many iterations of this node exists in our house generator geonode system. So we can go inside and say 1.7 works quite well. So I'm gonna have 1.7 because it's gonna work for the ground floor also. So if I preview now, you can see it's only only gonna select this side. So now I'm gonna use a mesh to point also on face, and I'm gonna bring my window model here. I'm gonna say instance on points. And if I preview, I can see the windows here. And I'm gonna plug it in my join geometry. So you can see my window model, it's a little shifted. So I can go here and select my window model. And you can see it's quite far from the ground, so I can go in edit mode and with the see-through activated so I can select everything. And if I modify it, now it's matching perfectly on the face and side of the building. So I can hide. And now I want the same window also on the other side. So what I can do, I can say this is on -x. I can group this just to keep it organized and say Windows -x side. So I can just Control Shift D and copy it. And I'm gonna plug this again in my join geometry. And we can specify on the +x side. Cool. So what we want to do now, we'll have to add a selection here and specify the randomness we saw in my video where I was showcasing. Alright, so to add that randomness, you can either be here or on my instance on points. So let's use this one. So it's actually a node called random value. So I've been using this one. So random value with an index, because I have a set amount of index numbers on these faces. So there are 6 here and 6 there, so 12 in total. So let's plug this on my ID and let's switch this to Boolean. And now I have a probability and a seed number. So let's plug this into my seed. And depends on which side I am. I'm on the other side. So you can see it's already working. So it's like a 50% probability. There are 3 of them, and also I have a randomness. So I'm gonna use the same one for the other windows. And you can see the point of the door and the one for the face, they're in the same position, so they're gonna overlap. So what we're gonna use for this one is quite a very useful node, geometry proximity and delete the instance. So when the door is here, the door point is gonna delete the window point by geometry proximity. Alright, so we need to identify our door point. Which is here. So if I move this closer, and I'm gonna say delete geometry, we want to delete the window instance. So we're gonna have geometry proximity by points. We want to say distance with a compare node. Let's say 1 and less than. So you can see it has deleted the window instance when the door point is close to the window instance. This is working as expected. Alright, so now we want to control the door position, so let's go back to the index of the door, and here we missed something, so we need to say equal when it's equal to the index number. So now we can move the door on each index. So we only have 3, so it's gonna be 0, 1 and 2. So let's try going upwards by editing our model. So if I only select the upper faces and extrude, you see it's gonna update in real time. Cool. So now we'll have to go to the next part, and we're gonna extrude the roof and create our roof node. So let's do that. Alright, so to do that we'll have to, like we did with the ground floor, we have to isolate but we'll isolate this upper part, and then we're gonna extrude upwards. And let's do that. Let's copy our output here where we have more space, and let's separate the roof. So we're gonna have again a separate geometry, and we're gonna switch to face, and let's select, we're gonna have a compare node by vector and a normal, and we're gonna have here equal, and let's see, and also we're gonna have here a Boolean Mesh subtract, and let's increase, we want on z-axis, so we're gonna specify here 1, and let's increase the value until we see just our roof. So 0.7 is fine. So I can bring this here, and I'm gonna plug it in our join geometry here. And now we need to extrude our roof mesh and we can give it a value of 0.1, and let's add the map also so we can distinguish it from the rest of the house. So we're gonna have a set material, and I already have here some materials created from my original file, so I'm gonna say this is roof, and this is not perfect, so what we'll need to do, I'm gonna merge this by distance. So I'm gonna have a 0.2 value here, and also I'm gonna deselect individual. So now you see my roof, it's welded. And I'm gonna try also do another extrude, and I'm gonna extrude the side so it's a little outwards. Okay, so I'm gonna select all these nodes here, and I'm gonna rename it roof. So now we have a very basic house. So what it needs now, it needs a slab here. So we can do that by selecting the floor plan we have separated here and extruding. So let's do that. So I'm gonna select my already extracted ground floor, and I'm gonna come here and say no, not delete. I'm gonna say I want to extrude the mesh. And we can see the result here. We want to deselect individual, and let's say a value of 0.5. So you see it's very weird, the extrude from geonodes. You'll have to combine with the original one. So we're gonna use a join geometry, and we're gonna bring it here, and now we can have the top also. And let's give it a material, and I have here material O2. Okay, that's fine. And let's plug this into our join geometry here and disable the viewer, and you can see I have my slab also, and also it's distinguished with a different color. So okay, you can bring it upwards if you want above the ground level with a transform geometry for everything. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna transform this because it's perfectly aligned, so it needs to be a little outwards. So I'm gonna use a transform geometry and use a bit of scaling, so 1.003. And you can see it's going upwards, and it's more visible now. We don't want on z-axis, only on x and y. Cool. And what we can do now, because we have the door position, from that door position point we can have like stairs synchronized with the door. So this is the door, right? We can move it, and from this point I can say I want my stairs. So I'm gonna have instance on point, and I have here a stairs mesh I have created, so we can plug it with on instance, and you can see it here. It's taking that exact point, so I can use a transform and bring it lower, and now it's perfect. So let's try. So it's in sync with our door. We can add more like advanced stuff like owning. You can add different elements to make the face of the building more busy if you want. Let's go a bit back here. I want to set a position node here, and I want to bring the whole house above the ground level, so a 0.5. You can see it's shifted, so I'll have to do the same for the roof also. Because I copied the output here, so I'm gonna bring it here, and now everything is above. So now we'll introduce a new node called a switch. So we'll want the door to be either on this side or on the other side, so we'll have to use a switch node. So we have here already on the -x, and we can say +x, and we can say we have our door, right? We have when it's -6 is true, +6 it's false. So let's plug it here, and with a switch node, and we also let's investigate here what's going on. So I copied this, but I didn't copy the source. So the source is here. So now you can see I can switch on either side. So on this side, on the other side, with a simple switch node. But on this side here we don't have that delete by proximity for the other windows. So to do that we'll have to go here and investigate what's going on. So we have our window model here, and we need to copy some things around, and let's see. So we have a delete geometry instance on point, Let's have a join. Let's combine them. So we have combined on the east side, and now it's gonna delete for both sides. So we have the switch node here, and we can go back and plug it in our group input. Okay, GeoNode doesn't like that, so let's go here. And we can call this input, we can call door side. And we can press here, and it's gonna be either that side or the other side. And we can go and do the same for our door position. So it's here. We can plug it in our input, and this is door position. And I can switch it on the other side, and I can reposition the door and bring it back, and index 1, it's the door. And now you can see when I switch the door on the other side, my staircase, it's either backwards, it's backwards. So to correct that, we can also use another switch. So let's find the stairs model here, and we can bring it and rotate it for the other side, and also synchronize it with a switch node. So that's why I like to rename things, so I can clearly identify them. So let's say Control J, let's bring it on the other side and say stairs minus X. So what we can do now is I'm gonna copy them and bring back the source here, the source point, and I can plug it here. And for this staircase stairs, we're gonna use switch node also. So true, true, and false. And we're gonna synchronize it with our door switch. So I'm gonna plug this here, and I can bring my input here so it's easier to see. And I'm gonna delete here, and gonna have the door side here, and I'm gonna synchronize it with the staircase. And now I can, let's see what's going on. It's all about investigating and trial and error sometimes. So goes here, it's gonna switch to the other side. So I can rotate, let's say 90 degrees. No, that's translate. So I'm gonna have here, okay, here was 0.5 minus 1.4 minus 1.4, and I'm gonna rotate. Okay, let's use a set position. and minus 1.4 minus 1.4, the same as the other one, and we can rotate it here 180 degrees. So now it's correct. So we're gonna try door side. It's correct here, correct on the other side, and you can shift it. Now it's on index 3, which does not exist. We have 0, 1 and 2. So 1, 2 and 0. 0, 1 and 2, and you see it's correct right now. So yeah, this is our house generator. We can go even further, so let's bring our probability, window probability also. Let's see where it is. It's here. So we can plug it here, and it's already probability. Let's rename it to window probability, and the seed is gonna be our window randomness. And if we go here in viewport, you can test 70% randomness. You can let's disable the see-through. You can extrude, and it's gonna update in real time, and you see the index has been shifted, and it's gonna position the door here. And if I go to edge mode, I'm gonna see my wireframe, and I'm gonna move this upwards. Let's have the see-through again, so I can identify where the edges are. So you can extrude now, and it's gonna update in real time, and I can go here too, and I'm gonna select this one, and you can create more like house variations. So I'm gonna try select this vertex, and I'm gonna weld it with this one. Okay, let's go back, and you can go a bit further. So in my showcase model, I also had like Boolean cut out of the window, cutting from the base mesh of the house. So you can go back here, and you can identify the window points, and you can instance a cube and also use a Boolean mesh node to cut through the main mesh. So let's find a windows. So let's use another join geometry, and these are window points. So you can use instance again instance on points. Let me take it out, and I'm gonna use a cube here, and I'm gonna preview it, and we can match it with the window size. Let's delete also. So to delete, we're gonna have it placed here. Okay, let's go back here, and let's modify our cube properties. Let's modify to point 2, 0.7 and 1.2 height. And these cubes here, so we can rename this to window cubes for Boolean. We're gonna take the main mesh here, right, and we can bring it here, and we can say we have a Boolean mesh node. So let's use Boolean mesh Boolean node, right? So let's try here mesh 1, mesh 2 with a difference. Gonna disable. Let's try to set material so we can see. We're gonna use this one, the yellow one. Let's try to reverse the meshes. So alright, so the instances are ignored, so we need to identify again what's the error. So we have used this one where it's a set position raised half a meter above the ground. So we can use that one as the mesh one, and it was giving us an error here. So sometimes it doesn't work if it's an instance on point, so I had to do a realize instance if it gives the error like before. So you can see now the result. I have the house which is like Boolean with a difference mode, and I can I assigned a different material for the windows, and now because you can see it's Z-faked because I have the original mesh also here, and it's conflicting with each other. It's here. So now you can see I have inside also for the window. You can do the same for the door, where you can mesh Boolean, the original one, and you can create another cube which matches the door dimensions. And what's left now is our chimney. So I already have a chimney model also. So let's go where our roof is. Let's identify, so it's here. So we have our roof, and we need to go back here, and if I lower it here I can see more, and right where I have extruded I can go create another node here. So you can see, because it's extruded, we want to do by face, so we don't want the side face. So what we'll have to do is we can use this one, so we don't have to merge by distance again. So you can use this one and say mesh 2 points, and we can select by face again, and we can use instance on point. And we can plug it in our join geometry so we can see. And let's find here. I have the chimney model. Okay, I might have it on my other file, so I'll go to the other file. Okay, so now remember, I didn't model a chimney model, so I use a combination of two cubes joined here. So I'm gonna create a cube and I'm gonna give it value of 0.5, 2 meters tall, and I'm gonna use another one and I'm gonna join with this one, and this one is gonna have 0.6 with 0.5. I'm gonna use a set position to bring it like 1 meter higher, and this is gonna be my chimney. It's gonna be on all 6 faces, and I can use again set material. You can create any material you want. So let's use this one, or doormat. Okay, and now we'll have to do like we did with the door or the windows, where we have an index with compare node. So compare, and we're gonna have here integer, so it's an exact number, equal, and an index. So we can switch between the indexes from 1 to 5, 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 5. We can position the chimney. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's the house generator, and I have created here a simple setup with a ground here and the lawn. Let me select, and I can use real-time generate sun here, and if I select the house I can see my options. So I have door side, window probability, window randomness, and I can also select the house and go to face mode, and if I select all faces upwards I can extrude. And yeah, it's really simple but cool way of doing procedurally models. You can either do anything you can think about, and I can think about another way, which is exact modules 3x3 or 6x6, but this is very organic way of doing things. I saw other procedural generator setups where they assign by material, where they assign different parts of the building. Well, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you're learning something from this. There are very cool selection ways, nodes of doing things. You have delete by proximity, you have selection by index. So I hope this is useful, and stay in touch, and thanks for watching. Yeah, cheers.